Welcome to my YouTube channel, Rick Surowicz Watercolor. At any time during the video, you can click on the link in the lower right hand corner to subscribe to my channel. If you want to learn more about my videos or my online instruction, you can click on one of the links at the end of the video.
Hi, this is Rick. Welcome to my studio and one of my live studio tips. This tip is going to be about mixing grays and neutrals and why I mix my grays and neutrals instead of using just a black paint out of the tube. On my board here, I have 5 columns, and the first column I'm going to just put a wash using a black paint. Then I'm going to use ultramarine and burnt sienna. I'm going to start to use some pairs of colors. Here's ultramarine, burnt sienna, royal blue and burnt orange, viridian, alizarin crimson, cerulean blue, and Halloween orange. And I'm just going to show you some of the mixes that I get with those and why I like to use those and mix mine. I don't have any black on my palette, so I have a little tray that I've put here with a little black on it. I have a tube of black paint that is probably 25 years old. I don't know the last time I ever used it, but at some point I had some in a palette. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this black. This is called peach black, and I'm going to just add some water to this. Let's take that. And I'm just going to show you. So I'm going to try and get a little darker mixture out of that. And I have some tape in between these columns just to give me some clean edges. So if you were going to paint something very dark or a black, a neutral, a dark value neutral, I'll say, when you start looking at the value scale, if you're going to be up here in the value scale and you're going to use a black, and then I could add some water to that and start to go to a lighter value by adding the water. And something like that. So there's kind of a gradated wash of this black that I have in my tube, this peach black. And if you want a neutral gray, you know, that's definitely a way you can go, or a dark colored black. But I like to mix my grays and my neutrals because I think they're more interesting. This is very one-dimensional, and I'm going to move this off my palette. Get a brush here, just a wash brush. So I'm going to start here with ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix kind of a neutral in the middle, and then add some color as I move out to the edges. I'll add the cooler blue this way and the warmer burnt sienna this way. This is very temperature neutral, right? But I could add some color to that if I wanted. But I tend to work in more complementary colors to get my neutral colors. So I'm going to take some ultramarine blue and put that there. And I'm going to put a little here. I'm going to take some burnt sienna. Get that on my palette. I get my burnt sienna here. So let's do this. I'm gonna put a little burnt sienna here. I'm gonna take a little ultramarine blue here. And I'm gonna mix. Let's see. I'm gonna take a little ultramarine blue. Then I'm gonna take a little burnt sienna. And I'm going to mix these. Back and forth here. And now, let's see, I have a little more blue over here. So now I pretty much have two fairly neutral grays. So you can see how close that is to that. Take it out of the other side. So both sides here I've mixed a pretty equal neutral gray. But what I can do, start to add a little burnt sienna to that. And I can start to warm that up. Add a little bit more. Get a little warmer. Add a little more. Get a little warmer. Then over here I can start to add a little blue. Start to get a little cooler. A little more blue. A little cooler, a little bluer. So that gives me the ability to shift temperature around when I'm putting down a darker, a dark or a middle value. I mean, really, you can do it at any range, light, middle, or dark value, depending on how much pigment in here. These are kind of middle values that I'm working with. But you see how you can get this transition from warm to cool, and how this is more interesting than just painting something with a black out of the tube. And so that's my burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. Let's get another pair here. So this time we're going to be working with royal blue and burnt orange. Get my wash brush again. I'm going to put a little burnt orange. This is quinacridone burnt orange. So a little more potent than the burnt sienna. Then I'll take royal blue, which is a very dark, valued blue. So I'm going to take and I'm going to mix some of those. So a little more blue. And you can just change the ratio until you kind of get where you want to go. That's kind of where I want to be. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to put this in the middle. It's not quite neutral, but I'm going to start to warm this mixture up. Actually, let me put my colors down. I forgot to do that. So let's put down a little burnt orange here. So here's my burnt orange. Put this royal blue. Here's my royal blue. And then here I start to go warmer. Add a little more burnt orange to that. Go a little warmer. A little more burnt orange to that. And I can bring it down to that bright orange. Now here I add a little more blue, cool this down. A little more blue. And again, get a range of warm and cool in my dark. Next, we'll clean this again. So I'm going to use Viridian. And I'm going to use alizarin crimson with that. Pick up this little bit of water here. So I'll take my Viridian over here. I have to work to get a little of this out of here. Phthalo works very good with the alizarin crimson. I don't have phthalo on my palette, but a phthalo green or Windsor green And I'm going to use my alizarin. This is a alizarin crimson quinacridone. So here's my alizarin. Here's my Viridian. Not near as strong as the Windsor would be, or Phthalo. But I'm going to take a little of these. And I'm going to mix these. A little more red. A little more red. So if you look at the two sides here, you know, that gives me a pretty good neutral gray. Or which side I take it out of, because I've mixed them both to give me a neutral gray. Now I'm going to add a little green. We'll start to go this way with it. A little more green. Now over here, we're going to move towards alizarin crimson. We're going to change a little more red. So this gray takes on a reddish cast. We'll add a little more. And still more red. Until we get to kind of the pure alizarin crimson. You know, I'm just letting this set. It has some water, a little excess water, so it's starting to backwash, but it's not a big deal. But you can see this range of colors that I can get in these middle values. You know, I could stay in this gray with just a little bit of tint. I've gone pretty much each way with the reds and the greens and blues and the siennas, but you can get quite a variety of colors. Now I'm going to take some cerulean blue and Halloween orange. You could use, you know, cadmium orange or Windsor orange. So I'm going to put some cerulean blue out here. A little there. Now I'll take some Halloween orange. Put a little there. Some here. I need a little bit more cerulean to kind of offset this. So this is going to give me, you know, a lighter, it's going to lean towards warm gray, but you can see this neutral here. It's not quite a neutral gray. It still has, you know, almost a greenish cast to it, but you know, it's a nice gray. Now add a little more blue to it, and I forgot to put my colors on the outside again. We'll go ahead and do that. So put a little cerulean blue here, put a little Halloween orange here. So I'm going to add a little orange to this. It will start to come this way. A little more orange to that. Start to come this way. And then we get to our orange. Over here, I started to add some blue. Probably get a little bit of a backwash because I'm working at an angle and that started to dry. It's all right. A little cerulean blue. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dry this, and I'll take this tape off, and then you can just see, take a look at the variation that I have here. All right, this is thoroughly dry, and I've taken the tape off, and here's my black with a little bit of water, just a little gradation into a lighter value, you know, very neutral, very much a neutral gray. Then here, in the middle of these, they kind of came together with some color, but in the middle of these are some more neutral colors. And then working with these pairs, adding various ratios of the two colors. I can move towards warm, I can move towards cool here with some of these different colors. I can get a very gray color using Viridian and alizarin, just as I could with phthalo green and alizarin. But I can give it a reddish cast or a greenish cast. And so you can work warm against cool. You can work complementary colors. You can accent, with complementary colors. But these are a lot more interesting. You can get in some deep shadows rather than thinking that, say, looking in a barn that's dark from the distance and painting it black. You can paint some interesting colors and let them mingle within those shapes. It's a lot more interesting. So that's why I like to mix my grays. I don't have any black paint on my palette. I haven't for years. Anytime I need a neutral, I can mix it using complementary colors on my palette. So I hope you find that tip useful. And thanks for watching this quick demonstration.
If you want to learn more about my videos or online instruction, just click on one of the links appearing on the screen.